When Tom told me, "I'm filing for divorce. I'll take the house and the car. I know this is going to be tough, but you'll get through it." His words struck like a dagger to my heart. He continued, "I'm not sure how much time you have left, but I hope you can keep going." Though his tone seemed compassionate, his words cut deep, and his smile, at that moment, felt more painful than anything else. How could he betray me like this? How could he abandon me when I needed him most? Did we promise to face everything together? The shock of his betrayal hit me hard, and the tears flowed uncontrollably. No matter how much pain I was in, I couldn't forgive him. I vowed to make him feel every bit of the hurt he had caused me. This was the beginning of my revenge. I'm Anna. At 45, I've always been the devoted housewife, taking care of my family. I used to cherish every moment with Tom. We met through friends, and he was always the life of the party, easily making connections with everyone. When I was shy and nervous, he gave me a reassuring smile that made me feel at ease. Our time together felt like a sweet dream, a beautiful candy-coated life where hours would slip away unnoticed. I wanted to spend forever with him, and I believed he felt the same way. We promised to marry, and I truly thought our future would always be filled with love. But over the years, Tom started to change. The pressure from his job began to take its toll on him. His salary was low, and he hadn't pursued further qualifications, limiting his career opportunities. I tried to offer suggestions, like considering a new job, but he always brushed it off, saying, "I'm fine where I am." Meanwhile, I was anxious about our future. What if we had children, or if I fell ill and couldn't work? To ease my worries, I encouraged him to apply for an administrative position at my company. It didn't require special qualifications, just the basics. I thought it could help improve his situation. His response was cold. "Why are you making decisions about my career? I chose this job myself. Are you saying it's not good enough?" I was taken aback. I only wanted to help. But he saw it as interference. "Just because we're married doesn't mean you can meddle in my job," he snapped, as if I were a stranger. His words stung, and I couldn't ignore the widening gap between us. I muttered to myself, feeling a heavy weight on my heart. How had we drifted so far apart? Tom also started distancing himself from my family. My mother, who is one of the kindest people I know, would visit often, cleaning, cooking, and storing food for us. It was her way of showing love and care. I appreciated everything she did and would often invite her over for meals. But recently, Tom seemed irritated by her presence. One evening, when he saw her in the living room, he snapped, "You're here again." Both my mother and I were taken aback by his harsh tone. It made me question the future of our relationship. My mother, ever gracious, smiled softly and said, "It's all right, Anna. If my presence bothers you, I'll leave." Her kindness, especially after all she had done for us, left a deep ache in my heart. "Tom, please consider how Mom feels," I begged. "She's always looking out for us. Please show her some respect." Tears welled up as I felt the tension in the room grow. I remembered all the ways my mother had brightened our home and couldn't fathom why Tom would treat her that way. His response was harsh. "When I come home after a long day of work, all I want is peace and quiet. It's exhausting having someone around all the time in my house." I tried to see things from his perspective, but I couldn't shake the gratitude I felt for my mother. I didn't think I was wrong, but I struggled to express myself in a way that Tom could understand. My mother, always understanding, reassured me. "Don't worry about it. If everyone is happy, that's what matters," and gave me a warm smile. Her comforting words only made me feel guilty. That night, as I ate the meal she had prepared, my emotions were a jumbled mix of gratitude and regret. I couldn't stop thinking about Tom and how we could fix things. But then, something happened that would change everything. At work, I suddenly felt dizzy and fainted. My colleagues rushed me to the hospital, and everything seemed like a blur as I awaited the test results. I tried calling Tom, but he didn't answer. The diagnosis came, cancer. Thankfully, it was caught early, and the doctor assured me that with treatment, I'd be okay. But I knew the road ahead would be difficult, and I braced myself for the challenges of treatment. When I told Tom about the diagnosis, his response was distant and indifferent. His silence hurt more than the disease itself, leaving me feeling more alone than ever. But I resolved to focus on my treatment. I told myself that moving forward was the only option. The treatments were far more brutal than I had anticipated, and my health deteriorated quickly, forcing me to stay in bed most days. Then, one day, Tom finally showed up at the hospital. His tone casual, he asked, "How are you feeling?" As if nothing had changed. "It's rough," I replied, trying to keep my voice light. "It would have been a bit easier if you'd been by my side." His lack of empathy frustrated me. Why hadn't he been there for me sooner? His support could have made all the difference during this painful time. Instead of feeling relief at his arrival, I only felt more isolated. As I reflected on our past, resentment built up inside me. And then, what he said next shocked me to my core. "I've filed for divorce. I'll take the house and the car. I know it's tough, but hang in there. I don't know how much time you have left, but I hope you keep fighting." I stared at him stunned. "Wait, are you serious?" Divorce. The words hit me like a freight train, and a whirlwind of questions spun inside me. Didn't we promise to face everything together? Hadn't we sworn to be there for each other, no matter what? His words left me feeling detached from him, and as I whispered to myself, "I don't need him anymore," something inside me hardened. I would move forward, and he would regret underestimating me. But first, I needed to end this chapter properly. "I understand," I said calmly. "I'm sorry for everything, the house, the car, whatever. If you want compensation, I'll pay. Thanks for everything." Tom looked surprised, but a smug smile crept onto his face. "I didn't expect you to accept it so easily. I thought you put up a fight. Anyway, take care of yourself and don't bother inviting me to your funeral." As he walked out, a twisted smile spread across my face. He had no idea what was coming for him. It would be interesting to see how his life unraveled. I called a colleague from my company. "Hey, it's been a while. I need a favor. Can you help me with something?" After a brief pause, he agreed. "All right, let's give it a shot." A surge of excitement rushed through me as everything began to fall into place. I couldn't wait to see Tom's face when he realized the trap I had set. When Tom finally grasped the situation, it gave me an unexpected sense of satisfaction. Even the discomfort of my treatment seemed lighter with this new drive. A few days later, right after a session, I saw over 200 missed calls from him on my phone. The knowledge that he was waiting for me brought an odd kind of pleasure. Once I composed myself, I returned his call, and I could immediately hear the panic in his voice. "Anna, please help me. This isn't what I expected," he cried. His anxiety pleased me more than I cared to admit. This was exactly what I had planned. Trying to feign concern, I asked, "Tom, what happened?" He paused before responding, "My name's on the company's layoff list. I can't believe this is happening." A smirk crept across my face as I realized everything was playing out exactly as I had set in motion. I had contacted the head of sales at my company, urging them to reconsider their business dealings with Tom's firm. After reviewing the partnership, they decided to go in another direction, prompting Tom's desperate call. That's when I decided to reveal the truth. "You know," I began casually, "there's talk around the office about you and the new girl. She's so cheerful, everyone likes her. But there are whispers about an affair. Is that true?" I could hear the disbelief in Tom's voice. "Are you serious? This is a joke, right?" His shock made sense. Who would think someone like me could affect his career? But then I delivered the bombshell. "Actually," I said, "I'm the CEO of the company." There was a long silence. Tom was speechless. "It's no lie," I continued. "That's how we've been living so well. I make around $1 million a year, and your salary wouldn't have been enough to support your lifestyle." I knew how reckless Tom had been with money. The $1,400 allowance I gave him was a band-aid, never enough. "Tom, wasn't yesterday payday?" I asked, my voice dripping with fake sympathy. "I always gave you extra on payday, but I'm afraid that's going to stop. We're not together anymore, and you can't expect me to keep giving you that allowance." I let the silence linger. "Also, the mortgage on the house is $2,000 a month. I know it's going to be tough, but you'll need to figure that out. If you miss a payment, you might have to leave." I could hear his panic as reality set in. "Wait, what? This is insane," he stammered over and over, the shock in his voice unmistakable. I knew he was feeling lost. How would he cope without my support? It was clear that his selfishness had led him to take me for granted. Now he was paying the price. If I were in Tom's shoes, I'd struggle to imagine a way out. I knew his situation must be overwhelming, but it was the consequence of his choices. Had he shown respect for me and my family, things could have been different. But this was the result of his actions. There was a pause, and I could sense Tom was searching for something to say. I felt a mix of amusement and pity. Was this really all he had to offer? Just as I was about to hang up, his voice cracked. Wait, can we reconsider? I know this sounds selfish, but I realize now how much he meant to me. The thought of going back to him after everything he could put me through, after all the hurt and abandonment, was almost laughable. His next words were desperate. I've been reckless, I know. I'm sorry I couldn't visit you in the hospital more. But once you're better, let's go somewhere quiet and enjoy some peace. I want to see you smile again. His words felt like echoes from a past that was long gone. The same promises he made when we first got together, promises that quickly dissolved into disappointment. Back then, I was swept away by his words, hoping for happiness. But reality had been harsh, especially with his careless spending. Perhaps if I had understood him better, we could have avoided this outcome. Anna, I can't live without you, he continued. I want to be by your side, facing everything together. Can we start fresh, just one more time? His voice was filled with sorrow and desperation. Despite the emotion, I couldn't bring myself to trust him. Enough, I said, cutting him off. We're done. I've chosen a new path and there's no going back. There was a hint of sadness in his voice, but I could sense the regret behind his words. Please let me say one last thing. I truly loved you, Anna. If you ever change your mind, I'll be here. His words almost swayed me, but I had made my decision. Our relationship was over. I wouldn't be manipulated by empty promises. Enough, I replied firmly. You've moved on, haven't you? Maybe you should focus on her now. I knew about his new girlfriend, thanks to his boss. His declarations of love now felt empty and convenient. It was clear to me that he only contacted me when he needed something, never when things were good. We're done. Go spend time with her and forget about me. If necessary, I'll reach out through my lawyer. Take care of yourself, Tom. His plea sounded sincere, but I knew that letting him go would make his life harder. That was the consequence of his choices. I had my own life to live, and I wanted him to stand on his own 2 feet. I ended the call and blocked his number. According to my lawyer, Tom continued to try and contact me, but I stood firm. My lawyer respected my decision and refused to provide him with any details about me. Surprisingly, my lawyer suggested I pursue damages. At first, I hadn't considered it, but it seemed like a fair way to seek compensation. Tom and his new girlfriend weren't exactly rolling in money, and rumors about his growing debts had reached me. When I dug deeper into his new partner, I learned she had fled due to financial troubles. I contacted her family, and they were furious, putting pressure on her to work hard at home. It seemed actions always caught up with people in the end. I had defeated cancer and made a remarkable recovery, astonishing my doctors. When I returned to work, I found a heartfelt letter on my desk from the sales manager who had supported me. His kind words truly touched me. When colleagues heard I was single again, a few offered to set me up. But after everything I'd been through, I decided to focus on myself. I wanted to heal and enjoy the time I had for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay stunned.